Good morning, everyone. Today is August the 6th, and here is Michael and myself with Game Changer. And today we're really excited, about our, what segment? The fourth segment. And this segment is very, very interesting. It is how to find and discover, how to help you discover and find money and success in either your personal life or your business life. And it goes through a 5-year period, okay? And so it's really interesting because Michael has chosen a special one for you to review, and he's going to explain it to you, and I'll kind of end it with how you get it and what the cost is and everything. So go ahead, Michael.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it up, and I have to share this, and I seem to have done, there we go. I'm just learning Zoom, so bear with me, and it is going to be shared there, so I want to share. And do you see it now, Sandra?
Yeah, I see it now. So tell me why you chose this one and why planning.
Well, Sandra and I are, if you don't know, we're co-authors of the book Game Changer, the relationship book. And it was born on the December the 6th, 2018. That's when it was first available for public purchase, right? And so it has its own life, much like human beings do, all right? Because we can adapt this to a person or an inanimate object, like a game changer that will have a life of its own. Sandra and I look at this much like it's an infant, okay? It was born, it's walking through, it's in its first year of life, then it goes through the second and so on, right? So we get a chance to look ahead for the next, 3 or 4 more years for this 5-year period. And so let's figure out what Game Changer is going to do, right? We'll be able to go through this Find Money and Success report. And again, I could adapt this over to Sandra or anybody else. We have the ability to do that, right? Can be done personally as well. So again, if you watch the first segments, the first 3, you'll know that the very start of the reports, it gives you some pretty detailed instructions on how to get the most out of this report. I would definitely suggest that you read it, carefully before you go through your report. And so again, in the interest of time, I won't bother with that, but what I will do is we'll move right through to what it will look like. Yours will be very similar, but again, personal. It won't be the same as this. Like the results won't be the same. Now here on, we look at the start date. You see where it shows where Game Changer was born? Age 0, all right? So find success and money for Game Changer. Now we're looking at its, what we will come up to is we see that in the first month, which is January 28th, 2019, is the first time where the cards come into play for Game Changer. All right, so that's the start date. We understand that. Now, the amount of days that this influence, this 7 of diamonds, shows the influence for 52 days in the Venus position. So as it goes through its yearly positioning with the different planetary influences, each one being 52 days, it gives us that amount, okay? Now, you'll look down here to the result card here where my little indicator is, and you'll see that that's a 365-day influence. That is because it falls in one of the top 5 positions that are year-long influences, okay? In this case, it falls under the result, all right? So the next thing is the power indicator. It tells us, combines all the information, and it will tell us, okay, in Venus, with this card, this indicator card in Venus, and again, this is all done based on from time immemorial. the wisdom of the ancient Egyptians and beyond that, predecessing that. So the 7 of diamonds came up. Its position, its power number is a 4. So if you read the instructions back up here, it tells us when you see cards with strength values of 7 and above, plan to take advantage. So this is a mildly powerful card. It's not really, I guess it's what you would expect if on a newborn infant. I mean, let's face it, hasn't found its legs, its voice, or anything yet. So it tells us that there is some influence there. In this case, we are in the money part of it. There are 2 parts to the report, success and money. Anything with the diamonds, you'll notice the diamonds, they're all about value and money. Okay, so we're in the money section. Let's just be clear about that. And we'll finish the second half of the report with the success report, which will bring under the influence of other cards. Okay, so we'll move through. We see in the same year, now this is first year of life still for our baby book. Another 4 in Uranus, so another 7 of diamonds value card. Gives us, again, a brief explanation of what we can expect. So nothing too really crazy here in terms of the power numbers, but sort of, mildly successful. And I think that's been the case with the book Game Changer. It's starting to find its legs, which is encouraging. It's worked very hard at the book signings, and it's getting some ground. So then we move through almost to the year-old section here, and we see we do have a pretty big influence here. So that number 8 is a great indicator, and that sort of hits year-long, right? Like I say, it's sort of gaining traction now, so that's a really good environment card, good number, and it's the 10 of diamonds, which is the boss. Really, really a blessed card for a business, right? And so we were encouraged to see that. Now we sort of move through again into its first year of life. Now we're looking ahead because we're into its first year of life. Now again, some milder numbers here in the first couple of 52-day periods here. And then we go through again a little bit better number in Venus. There's 3 Venus cards here that are influencing it. So Venus, we'll see what happens, right? 7 and above, again, is some strength in there. So we would hopefully see some really positive cash flow, some more positive cash flow in its first year of life, right? So during that period seemed like that Venus looks like it might be a bit of a jump start for Game Changer there.
Well, Michael, what I find really interesting as I'm looking at it intuitively is Venus is about worth and value, and so are the diamonds. And the relationship book is very Aquarian. It's the new model of relationships, which Uranus came in. So there's value in the newness of it about how to be successful in the relationship things, because it's moving from traditional to the new model. And very interesting.
Well, so then there's probably some acceptance going on, right?
Yes.
Like divinely, because this is like divinely connected. There's no doubt in my mind, right? It's been too accurate over the years, too many times to not. I mean, there's no other explanation. So that's becoming more accepted. The new model, the Game Changer model of a relationship. I don't even think it's accepted, but almost unavoidable. Like there's just almost no way around it for the vast majority of people out there, right? It does matter, and so we move through this. We see Game Changer now taking it through another birth date, and again, it seems like it's just finding its growing. It's like into its second year now, and it's showing different periods again: Mars, Jupiter, Mars, Neptune, 52-day periods. Where we see that the numbers are strong enough to show on our report, and so we're going to look for some bigger numbers as it starts to be able to run around, as Game Changer starts to be able to run.
Do you know what I find? But what I find interesting is just wait, I think it's
Down here, the results are?
no, I'm looking at the Neptune card because to me, Neptune is always people live in delusion or illusion, okay? But you can cut through the fog. It's interesting on the 10, 15, 21, which is a 10 of diamonds. It says it could be a potential, but one must also be aware that it could be a dream. If you have a good plan in place along with products or services, there could yield. Chances are it will happen, but just wishing for it will not be enough to make it happen. You have to do your homework. That's why planning. This influence means that it could be in foreign countries. So that would be a time we might look to put it into, to have somebody publish in a foreign language. But I do want to mention that this whole law of attraction, people think you can just sit and it's going to come. It can be open. You have to be walking in spirit on the right path, but you still have to do your work. And we do our work, Michael, and that's really important. Okay, next is result.
No, that's a good point. Like nothing happens, you know, like, I mean, like we can't just sit back. I mean, you and I have done an awful lot of work on Game Changer. And so that didn't just happen by accident, right? We didn't just sit back and go, you know, do it for us. We're just using this for our guiding light, a little bit of guidance. And so through this report, we know when to make a move. And you're right, perhaps this is when it gets translated to a different language.
Right. And another thing I want to say, which is really interesting, when we were looking at writing the book and publishing it and everything and did our all work, it was a lot of work. But the interesting thing, it came up that one year that there was a Queen of Hearts. And I said to you intuitively, that is the birth of a child. And that's the year that Game Changer come. And Game Changer is our child. Now you can take this to being a parent, okay? And so as a parent, your job is to guide and help and plan that child, that child gets the basis, because we know that the first 5 to 6 years are so strong. So it's taken a lot of work just in 2 years. And we still have to go and do our due diligence because it needs to grow. Okay. Okay,
so now we start to come towards the end of it. It's like now getting close to 4 and 5 years here of age. And so this is encouraging. We see here when it turns 4. So our baby turns 4 now, and it's got an 8 for a power number, right? And that's a year-long influence, okay? And so that looks to us like there's going to be some money generated. And, you know, we see this coming. So, of course, like we're not going to say, oh, well, Game Changer had a bit of a slack time, let's forget about it. So somewhere in our life, Game Changer still is evolving, right? And whatever we can do to help that, that's something we won't neglect, because we're looking at when Game Changer turns 4, a very powerful number, and for the whole year, a year-long influence, which is really cool. As it gathers a little bit of momentum, finds its balance, right?
And I want to say, everybody has to understand, this book came as a message to society. It was never meant to be put out to make money. And that's what people get wrong in their things. They get into ego and it's like, I got this gift, I got this, I'm going to make tons of money. No, no, no. It will never come. The money comes, okay, or the energy comes back to you because that's money when you do something to help and to assist. And this was a form of assistance because of all the chaos and challenge and hurt and sadness within relationships, because of the movement, how it was changing.
Well, you know what's the rewarding, and I'm glad you brought this point up because I kind of got lost in the report, but what would be rewarding to both you and I know I speak for both of us, is if during that period there was money coming in from Game Changer, it would indicate to both of us that there are a lot of human beings out there who have bought the book, and are benefiting by the messages in the book. So for me, that would be very satisfying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on, and as we go through the last few days, now it's turning into 5. So we look at 4, 8, power number, environment, very good, right? Year-long, 365 day inflow. Now we move to when Game Changer turns 5. And the same thing, another 365-day influence. So for a full year, this means then that people are really starting to pick up on Game Changer, and perhaps it's starting to change lives, perhaps it's starting to change neighborhoods. So it's very exciting for me to see this, right? And yeah, anything you want to add to that before I go over to the find success part?
No, I think that's good. So I have to say it's about being real, staying out of illusion, really looking at what the energies are there to be supportive, okay? And so to plan ahead, and it's like everybody goes, I have faith, I have this. Well, it's not enough to have faith. You need to be able to say, okay, I've got a plan and I'm going to work the plan. It's like every day we get up and we know we got to eat, we got to do this. It's the same when you have a child, and this is like a child and it's growing. So is your business, and really so are you. If you decide to get this report when you're 20 or 40 or 50 or 18, it gives you a really good kind of plan. What are the planets doing for me? And how can I make the best of it? Okay, so now the next section. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, so now we move to the second part of the report, which is the success, okay? Now, we go through again, I would say to read this page, very good information, right? And then it's right? But now we're talking about success. This is not so much about the financial part of it, but perhaps in our case, our baby gets more notoriety. It gets a wider spread audience. It grows, right? To have more recognition in the world. So success, right? Again, could be exactly the same thing for a human being, okay? So in this case, we've already talked. We're using our book. So here we go again from birth date, all right? And I don't probably have to go through quite as detailed the second part of it. It's very similar to the first part, but in yes, right? The cards give us the indications, the numbers, and the days, okay?
Yeah.
So oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just got it. The interesting thing, it's the 10 of clubs, and everything is about publishing and writing, okay? And so it started to garner attention in the public, okay? Because Mercury is about communication too. Sorry about that, okay.
Of course, the clubs are information and learning, right? And anytime you see a club, they are the students of the deck. And so Game Changer is information and about learning, right? Learning about yourself and your potential partner, your future family, the whole show. There's a lot there. So it was birthed for that reason. And 10 is success with large numbers of people, right? So it was a great time to be born for Game Changer, right? And so, but it started like any baby would, pretty helpless. And you can see by the power numbers there, it got a little bit, like just a little bit of needed some nursing, some care. And then it had a nice number 10 there, right? And so this was where I think when you were out doing the book signings and stuff, and connections were being made with various outlets, retail outlets and so on, a great ground and a great start for it.
But so, no, because this one, are you talking the 10 displacement?
Yeah.
That's in December of 20.
December 20, yeah. So we moved through the first year here where it was a little bit weaker, right? And I think you got a great grounding for it. Yeah. But it looks like when it hits its next birthday, because of that grounding that you did, everything that, because you have it in really some high-end outlets, retail outlets, and our YouTube channel will grow, okay? So next year coming up, and we can see that it's 1 year old now, we have a number 10 there, right? So it really might start to cry a little bit out there and move around, crawl. It might start to get itself going, right? And don't forget, we can pair these ones up with the money part in the first chapter, right? The first part of this report. And so when you compare the two cards for the similar months, you might find some really powerful months, okay? Because they do, overlap each other, right? So for a full year, Sandra, Game Changer looks like it's got a number 10. And I don't think I've seen a number 10 in any of the other reports. No. So that's a really strong indicator. And with the 8 of Hearts, which is the power cards, all 8s are power cards in the deck. This is with people, with hearts, right? It's dealing with personalities. So very strong indicator that its first year will be a strong year for Game Changer. Okay? And then we move through and we can see which months during that year. Actually, that looks like that is for 2020.
That's so 2020. Now we go to 2021.
Now it's 2 years old, and we move down to another really powerful card in Uranus, which is probably the most powerful card in the deck, the King of Spades, right? Yeah. So anything we might come up with for what's going on in Game Changer's life, that would be an awesome time to implement it. Some new marketing plan, some new tour, I don't know what, right? But something. Maybe we talk about it on a radio show. Whatever's going to happen, that would be the time to do it. For 52 days, that King of Spades will make sure it works out in a successful manner, right? So then we move again to, now it looks like we're moving through to its 3rd and 4th, 5th years, right? So now it starts to build some momentum. We have a couple of 7s there in 52-day positions. So those, again, are very strong numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so looking ahead now, we're looking at Game Changer being 4 and 5 years old. It's starting to finish those 4 and 5 years with some 6s and moving into the 7s, and another 6. So the last couple of years, we have a number of periods where it goes 7 and 7 and 7 and 7.
And it's Jupiter,
right?
Yeah, and it's Jupiter and Mars. So Jupiter is the expansive and Mars is the action to take it out there. That's good.
So for me, looking forward, it seems like Game Changer's on the right path towards becoming a successful individual in the world, being able to stand on its own 2 feet, right? And so there you have it, Sandra. Anything else that you want to add to that cool report besides the fact we could have put your name here or my name here and seen, something personal, right?
Well, I really hope for the people that watch this, they can become conscious of how powerful this is, to be able to really see what's happening in your personal life or in your business life and take advantage of it, okay? This is a how-to, and it's easy. You get a hold of us, and this particular report is $85 because it's a 5-year report, okay? And remember, it can be for your personal life. It can be for like a book, Game Changer. It can be for your own business. Another thing I just thought about, it could be really good, say, for a young person who is just going to start deciding on a career. So they would be taking a 2 or 4 year thing at college, or they would be going into an apprenticeship. As to say, they have to understand that it takes time, and there's a 10,000 rule. Okay, but another thing is sometimes if they've decided on something and it doesn't work, we know that the success rate for businesses is there's only 15% left after the first year because it's very Neptunian, it's illusionary. This will help you see if I'm going to take my time, which is my energy, and I'm going to put funds into it. Is this really the path? So it can help you make adjustments. And it was really neat to see it because I've always said it takes hard work. As I said, Game Changer was a baby, okay? And to be able to help that child grow, because it has the potential. Everybody has the divine spark within them to have the potential, but they need the guidance and they need the attention to it. And it's not just attention in a big way, but attention to detail, which I like that because it shows us the different things. So I think that was really good. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please think of subscribing to the YouTube channel. We would appreciate it if you would share it, okay? And if you have any comments and a contact to get one of these personal destiny reports of success and money, a 5-year report for yourself or your business or someone who is searching at this particular time. Anything else to say, Michael? I think that's it.
Well, I think you covered it pretty good, Chandra, but I guess the last thing that I'll say that sort of come up when you were talking, I guess by what's not on that okay, so let's say you are considering starting your own little business, all right? That probably gives you the times and best dates where you might find success. You want to birth your baby in a time that's very environmentally friendly, okay, to whatever it is that your new idea. And so what's not on that report is probably not the best time to start it, you know? Like, check that report and see when the influences are there, when the sun and the stars and the moon are lining up for your personal life.
Right. Oh, and that's really good, because from when I do the numerology and the astrology and everything, and I put it together, and I've said to people, there is a time and a season, okay, to plant the seed. And I've always said, they go, how do you know? And I said, that's my secret, and I can help you with it, because you do not plant a carrot in the wintertime. We know we need that. So this gives you kind of when is the best time to be doing things. And once you do have it, then you can plan, what is my marketing strategies? Did I do my market assessment? So we work on, so it takes on a very spiritual and yet a very pragmatic combination. So
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. And I'm gonna